Right. Oh, okay, we're recording. Hello, this is Miguel Trujillo, and I am going to do an impromptu discussion about some reminiscing of Emily's old home, and I wanted to do a video recording because this is something that I like to do, and so first of all, I want to everybody to notice where we're at. We're at 289A Burton Mesa Boulevard. This is our property in Lompoc, California. I'm about to sell it, in fact, so I'm not going to have it for probably more than 2 or 3 weeks. But I wanted to spend some time and just describe a little bit of the history of the site, just so that Emily can have a record of some of her memories. And I'm her father, Miguel Trujillo, and so let's go along on a little journey. This journey is my memories and reminiscences of Emily and her story. So one of the things I remember about Emily is that she had a tricycle that she would drive around this swimming pool and this sidewalk here, and we'd have a good time running around it, and she would cycle in her tricycle all around this swimming pool. And of course she went into the swimming pool as well, but because she was so thin, she got really cold real easily, and so I don't think she spent any more than 5 seconds in a pool like that. And over there's a little like a rotunda that we used to run around and play chase and hide and go seek and the catch games, and we used to throw the soccer ball around and the frisbee around, and we used to have a lot of fun around that little area there. So I want to bring you into the home, and we'll go over a little bit more of what I remember about Emily in this home. So this is a 3-bedroom condo, and I guess I'll start with the backyard first. One thing I remember about Emily in this backyard is that she liked to have, well, first of all, I remember we spent some time growing vegetables and fruits in here. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of produce out of it, but Emily and I know we dug some rows of corn and peas and carrots and watermelon and cantaloupe and all sorts of things. We worked together. She had her shovel, and we placed the seeds inside the rows, and we labeled them accordingly, and she was out here watering her plants, and that was a neat little project for us. I also remember her being on this in this sidewalk area, and she had this red scooter that was sort of all it was wheels, and somehow by rotating the steering wheel she could propel herself forward. She also did a lot of chalk art here on this patio, and these sliding glass doors were a fixture for her and her artwork. We'd always tape some of her artwork onto the windows, especially if it were holiday time. Like I could imagine, her mom used to buy her like plastic stickums for the holidays, and so sometimes we'd have like black cats for Halloween and pumpkins for Thanksgiving, and they would be put in all the holiday paraphernalia would be put there. Of course, here's the refrigerator. Emily, we would put a lot of artwork on the refrigerator. This is a brand new refrigerator. It's not the old one, but this is where we'd put a lot of her artwork. I remember Emily used to make a lot of She'd cook. She'd help her mom make pancakes here on the oven, and she also I used to help her make hard-boiled eggs. Emily really loved hard-boiled eggs, and so we had a lot of projects, cooking projects and kitchen projects here that she would do here in the kitchen. Of course, we had a computer here at one time, and we had our black dining room table. I can remember many times where she would be sitting at the black dining room table, and she'd be stringing together beads and necklaces and doing artwork projects for home and for school. And so she'd do a lot of artwork. She was really interested in putting these fabrics on a loom and making these patterns, weaved patterns. And let's see what else we had. Well, here's where her mom's piano was. Emily used to play piano every once in a while, but she played it infrequently on this piano that was here. She mostly played piano at her piano instructor's place, which is down the way at the Montessori school. Here's the place where we'd have the Christmas tree, and we'd string it around with tinsel and lights, and we'd have gifts at the bottom. The Christmas tree we bought, unfortunately, was a little bit too big for the space that we had, but we were able to make it work anyway. And I remember here is where we kept the TV underneath the stairs. Emily used to play video games every once in a while. Actually, she used to mostly play, we used just to watch reality television. I think her mom liked shows like Dancing with the Stars, and there was this other one, Survivor show. But I remember a few times Emily was playing video games with me. We had a Nintendo Wii entertainment system, and so I'd buy a lot of classic games. I remember Emily really liked bowling, and she liked to do boxing. Also, we did Guitar Hero together, although Emily really couldn't get the hang of Guitar Hero. We play Iceman and Super Mario Brothers, although Emily couldn't really get a handle on Super Mario Brothers. She was best at Iceman, I think. Let's see what else we got over here. Okay, so this is the bathroom, and in the bathroom, let's see, what memories do I have of Emily here? Well, I remember one time we bought her Light Bright. Light Bright, if you recall, is multicolored pegs, and there's a light bulb behind a dark face, and so you could poke through these designs. Well, Emily had a Light Bright, and Emily and I would lie here on the floor. We'd close these doors during the daytime, turn off the lights, and then we'd finish her Light Bright projects, or work on these Light Bright projects. And they came out really colorful because it was pitch black. This was a really nice place to have a dark space where we could do some Light Bright projects. Also, one thing we also used to do is as a fun little task, I would turn off the light, and we'd have paper on the ground and pencils in our hands, and I would say, okay, draw and the light would be off, and I'd say, draw a dog, and then I'd say, draw a duck, and then of course we couldn't see anything, so we'd have to do our best to figure out how to draw in the dark, and then we'd turn on the light and we'd see these goofy figures. We'd try to figure out, is that your dog or is that your duck? And that was a heck of a lot of fun. I really liked those little projects. Let's see, what else? Oh, there was one time I remember Emily was sitting down just about here, and she went to stand up, and she hit her head right here on the edge of this piece of wood, and it went boom. It just, and I heard it, and I in my own heart, my heart basically broke or sunk, because I knew it hurt. And Emily did not cry at all, which is amazing. But I think her eyes started watering, and I told her, "Boy, I think that really hurt," and she said, "Yeah, it did." I think she nodded it. And I told her that it would go away in about a minute or so, and eventually, yeah, the pain did subside. But that was a real knock, and I think it took her father for a ride more than it took her for one. So, okay, here's the stairs. Here we used to put a lot of pictures, a lot of images, a lot of photographs up here of Emily with myself and with her mom. We had photographs up here on the walls over here. Let's see. Here's another bathroom. Let's see. This is the bathroom that Emily used to take baths in, primarily when she was young, like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. She'd take baths, and I remember she would have little toys that she would play with. She would lay down on her back, and her ears would be submerged underwater, and she would just meditate there, lying on her back in the warm bath. And I always thought that was a really relaxing way to spend your bath time. She also had lots of toys, of course. She had a squishy duck, which made noises, and she had, I guess, letters of the alphabet. She had some other colorful toys, mostly plastic toys for use in a tub, like cars and boats and submarines and things. I think she used to keep her toys in a plastic mesh bag, and we'd tuck the mesh bag, I guess it was probably under here. And there was one episode I remember. She was just getting out of the shower, no, of the tub, and she was about to towel herself dry. And this, of course, this is why I remember it, because it made my heart leap. Is that she slipped right on the floor. Basically, she didn't have any clothes on, and she slipped, and she fell hard on her hip on the ground, and I just, again, my heart sunk. But she was okay. She stood up immediately afterwards. For a 3 or 4 year old, it's hard enough to get your balance to walk around. So I was very pleased she didn't hurt herself. But yeah, that's one of the the inevitable accidents that humans get themselves into. So here is a office that we had, and we used to have a desk here with a computer, and over here to the side in this closet, Sheila removed both these doors, put them downstairs, and we had a whole space for Emily. She had her desk, her own little desk, and she had all of her study supplies, like she had her markers and her pencils and her paper, and she also had, besides, there were like lots of little drawers in a plastic case where she could keep her erasers and her homework and other pages in her artwork. And this space was definitely hers. She had pictures that are up, little pieces of artwork, and around her desk and chair, and it was just a nice little space for her. It was a really great idea that Sheila had. And let's see, what else have we got over here? What else is of interest? Okay, well, this is the master bedroom, and of course what I remember here in the bedroom is Dad trying to fall asleep. At the time we had a queen bed, both Sheila and I, and so that's not the largest bed in the world. For a long time we had a queen-size bed, and I remember quite distinctly in the evenings Emily would come to the front of that door. She, at the time, she was so young, wasn't even as tall as the light switch there, and she would stand there whimpering in the middle of the night or in early evening, and she would ask to come sleep with her parents. Her mom had the heart to quite often to scoot her back into bed, but I didn't. I was always a little bit more too willing to let Emily come sleep with us in bed. But unfortunately, sometimes I got a lot of flack about that. But anyway, but for many years, Emily slept in our bed, and as part of the attachment parenting philosophy that Sheila and I implemented early on. But let's see, anything of interest also here in this bedroom? I don't think so. Now this is Emily's bedroom, and let's see, I'm going to try to help you piece together what this bedroom looked like. There was a dresser full of clothes. It actually changed locations between years, over the years. It used to be against this wall at one time and against this wall at another time. Emily had her single bed over here, and over here, I think, she had a bookcase where she had lots of books. I mean, she had probably 100 books, maybe more, maybe even 200 books here at the base of this wall. And of course, she had some toys and a lamp, I remember, and she also used to keep her jewelry. She had some kind of jewelry pocket wall, a jewelry wall storage set of pockets made of a plastic pocket material, and she'd keep a lot of her jewelry there. I remember one time there was a moon nightlight that only worked for like a day, and then it just stopped working, or we just stopped fiddling with it. It was sort of a really nice circular moon nightlight. It was actually quite huge and quite interesting as a science toy. I know above Emily's desk, or above Emily's bed, she had. Well, I think there were the words, her name in wood, Emily, spelled out here on this wall. And then I think she also had some wooden pieces that said peace and joy here up on her, on the headboard of her bed. Her headboard could store various trinkets and things. It just had some wooden storage area. Also in this corner, she would also keep a lot of her instruments, and she also had dolls, instruments and dolls typically. Basically a big old pile of instruments, everything from xylophones to triangles to shakers. She had tons and tons of musical instruments, mostly because of her mom's interest in kinder music. And she had, like I mentioned, drums of all sorts. She also had costumes here in a box over here beside her bed. Lots of costumes just strewn in a big old pile. There are more costumes over here and more toys in a big old plastic tub. If I recall, she had a lot of her dresses hung up here in the closet area, and shoes and such. And then this door here of the closet had been removed and taken downstairs, and in its place there was a hanger rod with a curtain, and this is the way that Emily could access some of her clothes. She would open the curtain up, and there would be 2 levels of dresses and shirts and pants that she could select every morning before she went to school. The reason was because these doors are really heavy. I mean, even as an adult man, 44 years old, I don't think I can move them with one hand. They're really heavy doors. So imagine a 3-year-old trying to open and close those doors. That just doesn't happen. So yeah, we had a curtain. Unfortunately, the curtain rod sometimes had a spring in it that was a little loose or a little weak, and sometimes the curtain came crashing down. I wouldn't be surprised if it might have come down on Emily's every once in a while. But it was a pretty light curtain rod anyway, one of those decorative curtain rods. Let's see. Oh, and there was something else. I remember Emily and I worked on a project where we had marbles. In fact, you can see these white dots on the this is the putty that was used to attach the tracks for the marbles. It was a gravity experiment where you'd place a marble at the top of the track, and in very creative ways the marble would wind itself down to the ground, and so that was we had a number of games like that where there were marbles involved. I remember there was a plastic toy that had a bunch of tubes and paddles and tracks for marbles that you would assemble, and I don't know, I think it came from France, and it wasn't the highest quality toy, but it was there. Oh, and there was another factor too. This window, these 2 panes of glass are slightly offset, one further away than the other, so there was a gap right here at this handle. And unfortunately, a lot of noise from our neighbors who are in the pool, splashing in the pool late at night, and sometimes our neighbors just across the way were a little loud, and sometimes the noise would get through and wake Emily. And yeah, I really regretted that, and I think I did want to replace this window many times, but I guess I never got around to it. So there's a rundown of Emily and her experience here in this 3-bedroom condo with her parents, and so I just wanted to sort of provide this as a gift to my daughter Emily as a memento, so that, because like in 2 weeks I'm going to give the key to this unit to somebody else because I'm short selling it. Anyway, so hasta la vista, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.